Hello again, a new topic for today. A while ago I've been posting a video about how to build, do yourself a power supply, a transformer, in fact, for a Behringer Soundcraft and many others using a differential, or better call it a 2 times 15 to 18 volts AC alternating current. It's very important to understand that AC, it's that sinusoidal shape we have from the mains, and the transformer, a simple transformer, is just putting down the voltage and having exactly the same shape, sinusoidal, like a snake, Okay. Most of you can't have that kind of coil machine to do your own transformers or to modify the ones you already have, like I'm doing so often. I believe there is a trick, so let me explain what I'm talking about. First of all, we need 2 times, let's say, 15 volts AC. Okay? How we can get that? Simple. That's a coil, 230 volts, let's call it, or 120 something. Depends on the region. Here is the magnetic core. And here we have 2 secondary coils of 15 volts, let's say. Next one, 15 volts AC. If we put these guys together, like this, then from here to here, we're gonna have 30 volts AC. Evidently, what we need is the ground here in the middle. So, in fact, we have 2 times 15 volts. The point is that these coils, the secondary ones, should be in phase. What mean in phase? The end of one coil is going to the beginning of the next one. And that's how we can add the voltage. It's something like this. Let's say this is the sinusoidal for the first coil. And here we have the sinusoidal for the next one. The point is that we have to move this shape, this one, here. So that means this side is going again higher. So this is called a phasation. Okay, so finally we have to add the phases to have a continuous one. We don't need to subtract the phases, because if I'm coming here with another phase like this, let's say, you can see here in this point, here we have let's say a plus 15, and here we have a minus 15. And these two guys added together will give me a 0 volts. So if the phasation is not right, is not correct, then instead of having a double output like here, 30 volts AC, then we'll have 0. Because in this situation, the phases are canceling each other. We can do a trick. Let's say if you don't have a machine to redo the coils, then we can simply use 2 transformers. 2 transformers. Each of them supplying 15 to 18 volts, not more than 18 anyway. And the story will be like this. So we have the first transformer, that's the primary. We have the core, and we have evidently the secondary. And we have, let's call it 15 volts AC. That's transformer number 1. Next one, 15 volts AC. All we have to do now is to search for that phasation I'm talking. And this is very simple. First of all, we just put 2 of the ends together. Doesn't matter. From here to here, if it's a good phasation, we're going to have 30 volts. And this is the middle pin, the ground. If it's not the right phasation, then here we're going to have 0 volts. If we have 0 volts, then you just turn the connection like this. So this one will go to this guy here. And then from this point to this one here, then we'll have 30 volts. How can we check that? Well, if you don't have a multimeter, you can use a bulb, at least 24 volts bulb, because it's a pretty high voltage, 30 volts. It's not harm to the body, don't worry about that. But be sure you are secure with the inputs here. It's dangerous. All right. Evidently, if you do the first connection and you got no light, let's do that again. Only the secondary. So here we have, let's call it A, B. The next transformer, C, D. The first situation is B plus C. And that gives me from A to D the maximum voltage, 30 volts. How we can do that? Simply, that's the one. And from here to here, we have 30 volts. The second situation is when we have a different phasation, A, B, C, D. If we add this B plus C and we don't have from A to D 30 volts, then we'll do this. We'll go from B to D, and practically we should have here from A to C 30 volts. So this situation, it's like this: B plus D, and that gives from A to C 30 volts. And this is the right phase. It's very simple to understand that, okay? Somehow, you know, these two coils, these two transformers will be with the secondary in series, but you have to look for that sinusoidal phasation. All right, let's do something practically now. So I have two pieces of wire because we need connection to the mains. That's one. And the second guy. Perfect. We got the transformer here, my first guy. You see, pay attention to the mains, because, you know, this is life power, and that hurts. It's really dangerous. So isolation every time. Obviously, don't do this wiring while you are plugged in. No way. Absolutely, it's an improvisation, so don't do it like me. You see, these guys already have two secondaries, but we'll use only one. My next friend here, if you don't have a tool like this, I really recommend this one from KAIWEETS. You'll have a link down there with the code and some promotion. There we go. Well, you see, I'm doing this improvisation just for the sake of experimenting, okay? What do we need here more? We need yeah, we have bulbs here. If you don't have a multimeter, you can use at least a 24 volts bulb. That's the multimeter, ready to get into the business. Power supply. Let's be sure that it's nothing in short. Okay, so this will be one. Let me check my second transformer. And this is the second one. Power on, multimeter on AC, and let's check for voltage. So here we have from the middle to one of the 22.7 volts. Okay, it's kind of high, but doesn't matter. This is just an experiment. And from here to here, 11.8. So let's say if you don't have a multimeter, you can use a bulb. Well, these guys are pretty big. So let's see if we got any. Okay. What about this? Good. You see very clear we have light here. So we'll consider only this and these two guys. I want to put some labels here. A. B. C. And here we go. Now, let's have the first situation. B plus C. Maybe I should use some solder. There we go. So, this will be the ground. This will be the middle. And this will be the terminals, A and D. Okay, let's see what we got here. Power on. Let's measure D to A, and we should have 20, almost 30 volts, but we don't have because we are not having the right phasation like I told you. 9.2, that's the difference between a coil to another because they are not equal in my situation. And if we try to light the bulb, that's impossible. You see, A to D, it's not working simply because it's not in the same phase. But if we check this one by one, we have power, we have light, but nothing from A to D. That means we are on the wrong phasation. So what we have to do, we go to the next situation. Let's have B connected to D. Power off and okay. So now in this new connection, this middle point will be the ground. Power on. Let's check with the multimeter first. Now we should have from A to C plenty of voltage. 30 something. 36 point something. You see exactly what I meant. So now the phasation is correct. And if we put the bulb here, we should have plenty of light. Told you? That's it. So, with two guys like this, you can improvise a power supply for your mixer, for those mixers who needs 2 times 15 to 18 volts AC. So here we have the middle pin, and here we're gonna have those two outputs of 15 volts AC. The primary can go together because this is not a matter of phasation here now. They can go together in the same, in a small case or something, and you have a working power supply for those mixers. Well, I hope you understand. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, misunderstandings or things like this, don't hesitate. Follow my channel. By the way, please subscribe, like, and I'm waiting your, of course, questions. I'll do the best to answer. And like always, be creative and have fun. Bye bye.